Hey everybody, welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV's after show for HBO's miniseries The Night Of. Tonight we're discussing part 6, Samson and Delilah, another intense episode. Don't go anywhere.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
And play the piano.
We should all get a different instrument.
Whatever, the orchestra is playing. Whatever instruments are playing. Hey guys, welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV's after show for HBO's The Night Of. Like I said, we're talking part 6 tonight. Another very intense episode and some very big revelations, so I'm excited to talk about everything. But before we get into that, I am your host, Miaira Jennings, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Miaira Jennings. And as usual, my amazing panel right here. Introduce ourselves.
Hey guys, I'm Joelle Monique, and you can find me all over the internet at Joelle Monique.
Hello everyone, I am Abby Vega. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at _Abby Vega.
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel.
All right. Are you ladies ready to discuss this episode?
So much to dissect.
Let's talk.
Right? I mean, we're nearing the end. We only got 2 after this, so there's a lot to pick apart. Let's get started. I want to start off with the fact that, it starts off with John Stone cleaning the litter box. We still don't get the deal with the cat.
Can I just say, okay, I was going to say something last episode, like he needs to clean the litter box. And I was thinking, because he always like shuts the door right after, I'm like, but he has to go in there and clean the box, and he hasn't yet. Even when he got the cat, he like threw him in. So I'm so happy to see he's
taking
really taking care of the cat.
Well, he got the mask, so it doesn't affect his allergies so much. He makes the smart decisions.
The cat thing's weird, but what was weirder, this was like the first fault I've had with this show, is the way it was so inconsistent with how the last episode ended.
The cat? Or just
No,
in general?
in general.
Yes.
I thought that was very bizarre to skip over.
Let's talk about that, because I feel like we had a lot of questions at the end of last episode when Stone was chasing Dwayne Reed.
Yeah.
And then we were like, what? Nothing happened at the beginning of this episode. So I guess we were just supposed to make of that nothing. I mean, he just didn't find him in the alley and he went home.
No, this show's too smart for that.
Not only that, but this feels so much like Nas's night, as far as editing wise. Of we were here, gap of time, we don't know what happened.
So we
he
don't
pops
know.
up
Okay.
somewhere else, and he seems okay, but something crazy has happened in between. It really wouldn't surprise me if we revisit this later and find out he did some shady stuff in between, made some deals, got some information, something like
I'm
that.
hoping that happens, because to me, I didn't even think that. To me, I
completely forgot.
I forgot too, until we noticed it while we were watching, and we were like, wait, what happened? I hope they revisit it, but it's hard for me to think when they would do that. There's only 2 episodes left, and they're in the trial. I don't know. It was weird.
Last episode was when you think everything's wrapped up and they have a solution, and they're like,
he comes in to take
forgot
the
about
stand or
this,
something.
didn't you?
Yeah, because I was, maybe.
Maybe
comes
he
in
witnessed
and is like,
something, and he's like trying to
Yeah.
negotiate, like, hey, listen, we need to come in, say a little something.
Maybe.
Okay.
I just thought that was just kind of weird.
All right,
that
yeah.
it
So
wasn't
I
even
definitely
mentioned.
think they have to go back to it. There's no way. That ended so dramatically and really left us on the edge of our seats. And I know everyone watching last week's episode was like, is he alive? Did something happen? There's no way they're like, oh, this could be a fun ending we'll never get back to ever.
Yeah.
I know.
Like,
they better get back to it, or I'll be very
I'll
annoyed.
be pissed.
They have to. Well, I mean, I feel like if they don't, there might be some things that will make us forget, because the show's just that crazy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it just wouldn't make sense. So I think the writers know what they're doing. I'll be patient. We'll just have to wait and see. But after that, so we see that Freddy gives Nas the phone, and I'm like, ugh.
I know. Like, stop
Another
being a criminal.
incriminating, yes, another
As he's getting
incriminating
tattooed.
action.
Wait, is it as he's getting tattooed? Yeah. What we
Sin.
on your
Sin.
knuckles, bro? You can't cover that up in court.
What are you doing,
Exactly.
Nas?
So that's the question I have. What is the deal with Nas? Is he just feeling the pressure in prison, or is he taking on this new persona that's just like he's falling in love with? I'm trying to figure out his reasoning here. Because he still has a chance to get out.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just trying to figure out his reasoning too. I'm hoping that it'll be clear by the end of this that like we're gonna find out why exactly he's doing everything he's doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't understand at all. He has Rad on one hand, Sin on the other. I'm very confused by what he's doing, because to me, from what they've shown, Freddy hasn't been hardcore pressuring him to do any of these things, you know? He offers it, and I don't know. It's really weird to me. I want to know more.
I think that with pretty much anything that goes on in our lives, a lot of things do happen kind of organically, and in that kind of setting when you're in prison and like these are your friends. Again, friends are everything. They say like the top 5 closest people to you make up who you are. Think about the top 5 people right now Nas has. Okay, Freddy being one of which.
Not the greatest role model.
So I feel like he's just not really paying attention to what he's doing. However, I do think that when Freddy said something like, haven't made you a convict yet, or something like that, I think that stuck to him. Yeah. Because he didn't accept the shirt, which was weird. And I think, I mean, even though he's still smoking and all of that, but I think it is starting to hit him, I hope. But like the tattoos are forever. Forever, Nas.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I also thought it was very strange when he gave him the phone, the comments he was making about family. Those stuck with me, and I think something bad about them for some reason.
Yeah.
You mean like he had a negative kind of like?
No, like I feel like that was almost like a threat or something to his family.
He was emphasizing,
I took it very strange.
Like, family is everything. Like, he was talking about his own. So I get what you're saying. There definitely could be something there something weird between the lines.
Well, to me, I took that as you're not calling your family. You're not reaching out to your family. We can be your family.
That makes sense,
We can be the people that support you. We can be the people that are closest to you. I mean, he didn't even want to call his family on the cell phone. He called his lawyer.
Who he totally has a hots for.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only woman he's really interacting with in probably months since he's been in prison and getting this case together. And she's not unattractive, and she's nice, and she's helping him.
She's single.
Right? Ready to mingle.
You did call that, Renee.
You're single.
So.
I did. I see a romance starting.
But anyway,
really
I mean, I feel like Nas brings up his family again later on and we'll get to that when we talk about the whole incident in high school. But I just feel like I don't understand why he's being so shut away from his family. Is he just ashamed or embarrassed, or he's nervous,
about
he's worried?
His mom not understanding, like, how could you push this kid down the stairs?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I raised you. And he said earlier that he doesn't think his family can ever truly believe he didn't do it. Yeah. So I think that the distance is, I'm a convict now. I've had a negative impact on your lives. You've had to completely redo your entire lives, including now his dad's delivering, his mom is being asked, what are you willing to do for work?
Yeah.
I think at this point, he probably thinks it's better to put him some distance between himself and his family.
I mean, like, what is he going to talk to them about? Like, oh, today in prison, some guy almost cut my throat, but don't worry, I survived. It's cool. Like, what can you, there's not really, like, discussion,
and it doesn't
parent
seem like
discussion.
They were particularly close beforehand.
Yeah, so now it's like there's honestly nothing there's not even surface material they can talk about. They can be like, well, in school or at work, there's nothing, and he probably feels all this guilt, and he probably feels ashamed for he's in prison right now. His family thinks he's a murderer, might think he's a murderer. Like, I don't know how I would act in that position.
I don't know either. I still feel like there's so much to find out about Nas, and I love that we're finding these things out because it changes our perspectives. We never would have guessed. We saw this nice, innocent-looking boy in the first episode, and now we're like, whoa.
Yeah.
But dude's got some anger and some potential to do some things, so it definitely complicates the story in a good way.
Yeah. With the whole thing about him being violent, though, once you hear his reasoning, I feel like I didn't even think of him as bad.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. So let's talk about what Detective Box finds out throughout this episode. First, he's checking his Facebook page. Good move, obviously. I'm surprised it took this long.
I was
whatever.
gonna say.
Yeah. I'm like,
Seriously.
the first thing I'd be checking his social media.
The first thing I do when I meet anyone.
Right,
Check all your social media.
Exactly, in any circumstance.
Exactly.
But anyway, so he finds these messages on Nas's wall from his friend Amir, and he's like thanking him for something, and I owe you, dude.
Who like posts that on anyone's wall? Like,
we didn't find out what that was about. So what do you guys think?
I swear
that's
he's
about?
like selling Adderall or something.
I thought that was a really good guess.
That was the only thing I could think of.
But like, if that's the case, again, like that's so public. Like to me, I would like. Do you even sign people's walls anymore? Like, I also wouldn't write like, "Hey, thanks for that thing you did," especially if it was like bad. That's something you do secretly. Like text each other.
Yeah,
it's public.
I mean, chat is right next to your text.
With that being said, though, it's still to me like very believable. Like you see things people post on Facebook, like telling their life story in a status.
People make weird
so to me, it's believable. I think it's Adderall or something of that sort.
Yeah.
I don't think it's anything.
Has to be something dumb. Because if there's something like really hardcore then that could really get them in trouble, again, like hopefully they're smart enough not to be like, oh, post it on your wall.
Yeah. And after we kind of found out that he had like Adderall in his system last episode, that just to me makes me think that that's probably what he was doing. Just like selling Adderall to college kids.
Yeah, I think that's a great speculation. And I think that would make sense because they could say, oh, he was a dealer and into this, you know, trying to shatter his good boy image for sure. So that makes sense. Maybe it's not too serious. But moving on, so we see that Shandra is reviewing the footage from the gas station. Ooh, exciting moment in the episode. I believe, Abby, maybe you brought this up that the Hearst man would be back.
I knew he was going to be back.
Right. She called it.
Yeah, Endgame in the chat says, I think the Hearst driver was legit insane. And I have to say, I agree.
Yeah.
Very creepy man.
He's a psycho.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Also,
got
like,
some
terrible
loose
nail
screws,
polish.
maybe.
Like, that's
Not a
his
good
job,
point.
and that was like not, I'm like,
I was
that's
thinking
not how
that
I'd want to
too.
look for my
He
funeral.
was very haphazard with it, just like slosh. And I was like, it's very easy. But the drop of blood really, like, okay, when the nail polish dropped, it looks just like the drop of blood we've been seeing from the deer's head and other places with throughout the show. It really creeped me off, and it definitely, I feel like, oh my gosh, female lawyer.
Chandra.
Yes, I really feel like Chandra needs to follow her instincts on that.
Same.
And be like, this guy, he is questionable.
Follow up.
Bring him to the stand.
Before he murders her.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen the last of him.
He's so creepy.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm so sorry, guys. Anthony Johnson just posted, I thought the thank yous were for tutoring. Which, if it was, if we can bring back his good boy image, if they can attack that and be like, oh, no, it's for tutoring.
Thanks, Anthony.
That's isn't that crazy how like watching this show
Yes.
and seeing him, we automatically assumed it was something bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I owe you. That could totally just be for tutoring.
Thank you, Anthony. I really,
That's
because
so
I
true.
want to be Team
That's
Nas.
something I would post on someone's wall.
Yeah, that's actually pretty nuts. That we automatically thought something bad.
But it's just crazy to think that maybe a few episodes we wouldn't have thought that.
Exactly.
Oh,
That's
that's
right.
we do. So
That's
shout
so
out to
nuts.
the writers. Another amazing way to keep us all on our toes, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
What were we even just...
Sorry,
we
we
got
moved on to
Mr.
the
Day.
next guy.
First man.
Yeah.
Mr. Day.
So obviously, it is revealed he definitely has some issues with women, and he does not hide it. Which is, I mean, this could definitely be cause for murder. This could definitely make him a suspect, and I'm surprised no one else followed this lead. I mean, Box has been looking through the footage. I don't know if I would have gone and questioned him alone. So Chandra, maybe you guys should start the buddy system, you and Stone, and go places together. But I think she's getting somewhere, and I hope that she follows up with that and finds out where he went after that, because obviously he's troubled.
Yeah, he shut right down when she asked him, where were you? He was like, are you one of those females? And he's a females to me tends to be a giant check in like crazy misogynist box. Whenever a guy is like, you females, and I'm just like, okay, I see you, sir, whatever. I really feel strongly that now that we have two good, like, I don't even want to call them red herrings, because they could be actual suspects that just never
legit.
got checked out. I'm excited to watch Box get himself reamed.
So none of you think that he knew her before? You just thought
Mr. Day?
The Hearst man knew Andrea
No.
before. You think it was
I think-
just she set something off in him.
Yeah.
He's like a serial killer. Like serial killers, some of them get fixated on like little things about people, how they choose their victims. That's what he reminded me of. It didn't seem like a personal relationship. However, I accept that with her being stabbed 22 times, I would accept him being the murderer just because it would be a personal murder, because he's crazy. He's a crazy man. Yeah. He needs to get a hobby.
Like I think that he's super weird, but to me the way he was so flat, like straightforward about his hate, to me I don't think he did it.
He definitely wasn't trying to hide anything.
Exactly.
So I certainly give you that. And I would also go that just in this show, someone that obvious seems to be not the person we're looking for.
That's what I'm thinking, but they could just want us to think this is too obvious. So you never know.
I wouldn't be too disappointed, but I also still feel like this is a super personal. I'm still going mob family. Still hardcore mob family.
I feel I'm sticking with the Stepdad too, but I mean, I think the Hearst man was a nice touch.
Yeah.
I kind of hope the Hearst man has killed other people and they wind up solving a second case just for the hell of it.
I think that he's going to come back more. I think he's going to come into play more in the next 2 episodes, but I don't think he did it.
Follow them home. I really hope that there was more to the night, not just like Nas and then whoever killed Andrea and then that's it. I hope there's like a whole other, like more dimensions to that night that we don't know about. Mr. Day coming over and Andrea being like, what? I'm Kat, you're a string. What are you trying to say?
Right.
He's like, well,
let me tell you.
Feel the need to attack you.
I hope so too. I think that would be nice. I mean, they just keep throwing so many things at us.
I know.
So it could really go in any direction.
Anthony Johnson said, who else
left.
thinks the show is just messing with us? Everyone's a legit suspect. And it's
Everybody.
true.
That's true. So the next thing Box finds out is about Nas's history of, being he transferred schools because of this violent fight that he had. Well, they say it's a fight, but Nas explains his side of the story, like you brought up, Abby, and he pushed another boy down the stairs. Let's talk about that, because I feel like it could be interpreted in two different ways. We could say that he had this pent-up anger in him and the violence just came out, or we could say that he's just been dealing with a lot of personal issues and harassment and bullying, and everybody has their limit. Everybody has their limit on what they could take as a human being. And so when you reach that limit, you burst. And so is that the situation? What do you guys think
That's what I took of it. Of course, they're going to try to spin it into this violent behavior, but then when you hear him talk, it was right after 9/11 happened, and
well, not even just after. He said the towers fell when I was in 5th grade, and he got kicked out of high school sophomore year.
Yeah.
So that's 5 years that he took of, like, probably daily
that's
abuse.
what I'm saying. So I don't think that he is like this violent person. I think that's gonna affect anyone if you're getting picked on and harassed. And like he said, when he was in 5th grade, he didn't understand like why this was happening. So I think it was just built up. I think that they want, obviously the state's gonna try to make it this big violent thing. And but I think that Shandra, once she heard that side of the story, doesn't think that, I don't know.
Well, she can relate to
I think she, exactly.
I also think that there's a huge difference with pushing someone downstairs. That's one move, as opposed to stabbing someone 22 times.
So true.
So I don't connect those two, especially the way he's like, it was pushing someone that he was so angry at, but it's just one push. It's not like he had to like beat this guy up until he was so injured, like he did with the guy in prison. But like, I think that one has like so much anger, hate, whatever built up, and a lot of issues, and the other one's like, I hate to say defense, but in a way, kind of like a reaction to being bullied for so long and it just exploding out in not as bad as a way of murder, but yeah, I don't think it's like he's a crazy guy because of it.
I know in high school where you're walking around so much, you spend a lot of time in stairwells getting to and from classes. It sounds like an in-between class interaction where we were on the stairs and like, leave me alone, dude, and it just escalated.
Yeah.
And he said that when he came back, like nothing changed either. So I understand Nas's pent-up, deep down anger. Like, I get why it exists, and I feel bad that people keep being, like, poking and prodding him and being like, you're really angry underneath. You might be, too, if you had to go through my life. Like, it's crazy.
It's true, and it makes you stop and think, like, what could you be capable of if you were pushed to these same circumstances, We don't know. We have no idea. Well, I mean, we don't. I don't know. Maybe you guys do. Let us know, please. We like the personal stories as well. But seriously, it's like you never know what people could be capable of, and it just sucks that he was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and now everything can come back.
Yeah.
We presume.
This could have meant nothing in any other circumstance. So that sucks, but we'll see. Next, Shandra and Stone meet up to discuss the jury selection, and there's this interesting moment. Could be nothing, could be something. The hand touch, John, the little creepy looking.
Look at your faces.
I didn't think anything creepy of it.
Neither did I.
Okay, because of how they've shown John with younger women in the past few episodes, yeah, I definitely got like a creepy vibe. I don't know, he's so weird with women, and we've only really, the show's only really shed light on that recent episodes, so I think we should pay attention to those little details. Sure. But maybe it is for no reason, just so we, kind of think everyone has their issues and their faults, whatever. But I don't know. I pay attention to those things like so hardcore. Like I don't like it.
So I certainly read it as a pass because we don't get a close up of that hand if it doesn't mean anything. But at the same time, his very next move is to cut her off from drinking too much. Like, again, I just feel like he doesn't know how to talk
He's
to
just
women.
A creepy
and
dude.
He starts stumbling over himself. Even the shoes to, like, the eczema support group where he's like, I'm wearing shorts and dress shoes and socks because I can now.
Exactly.
Like, he's just such a weird, awkward person. I love Stone.
And he's lonely, and he doesn't, I mean, I get it. I do get it. And I just thought it was definitely a moment to note.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And also, like, the way they show him trying to get a hold of his son, it kind of almost made me think of him acting kind of fatherly to Shandra. You know what I mean? Cutting her off and kind of calling and checking up on her, you know, giving her advice, and that's
trying to get her to laugh when she's stressed
exactly.
out.
So I didn't take it as like a creepy thing. But
well, while we're on the topic of Stone and his creepy ways with younger women, we might as well bring up another theory, because we love those. So Tom James, thank you, Tom James, for this wonderful theory, found a way to tie Stone to the murder. And I know a few people have been predicting that Stone was the murderer. I'm not completely on board. I don't know about you guys, but it's always wonderful to hear these different theories.
After that crazy ending last week and the amount of like crazy suspects they've thrown us, anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Yeah. So Tom James thinks that maybe Andrea was a prostitute that was, you know, having relations with John Stone, and maybe he was with her that night. And
that's
a
good one.
Yeah,
right? I read that. I was like, oh my gosh, that makes sense.
That would be crazy. We do not suspect that at all. So I think that would be a great twist in the end. We'll have to wait to find out. We weren't given any of that in this episode, but
yeah, and they also called attention to, who was it? Box asking the stepdad if she was a prostitute, and him saying, I don't know.
Right. And also maybe another reason why he took the cat. Maybe the cat has some DNA or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some kind of evidence.
He thinks the cat, yeah.
So, I mean.
Because that's why we still don't understand.
To the cat or to her if he feels responsible for
maybe.
her.
Yeah. Because it's still so weird to me if he's so allergic to a cat and that he finds it necessary to hold on to it.
Yeah,
it's strange.
It's possible. So thanks, Tom James.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's definitely one of the craziest theories we've had so far. So we'll definitely keep that noted.
All suspicious and thinking.
I know.
Anyone could be the murderer.
Yeah,
but we'll keep that noted. Moving on. So Nas's brother Hassan walking through the school spray painting things. What's the deal with that?
I think he just wants to destroy stuff, and I get it.
He's just pissed off.
I think,
dude, he's probably got the same treatment as Nas in school. I imagine he wasn't
probably
spared
worse
from that.
Now.
Yes, his parents' whole life is turned upside down. Nobody's happy. His brother is gone, and if he thinks he's innocent, which everything we have seen so far would lead us to believe that probably that's his feeling. And the school system has not supported him or his brother through any of the drama they've been through. I would just want to destroy things,
That's what I think, too. I think they're just trying to kind of show, because they haven't shown too much of the family and what they're going through today. This episode, we see the parents and their job struggle and stuff. And I think I'm glad that they're showing. I don't think there's anything more to it than him. He's a teenager. He's probably getting so much crap for his brother, probably gone through the same bullying, like you said. I think it's just him needing to be in control of something and vandalizing and doing something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think anything more of it. Like, I would never think he has anything to do with it or...
A few people have said that.
Yeah.
I don't have the names, I'm so sorry, but he's a suspect in a few people's eyes.
Yeah.
Not mine, but...
I don't see it, but...
I mean, like I said, anything's possible.
I just think at this point, with only 2 episodes left, unless he's heavy in the next 2 episodes, I just don't think that he's been featured even regardless, even close. You know, we haven't even had a full conversation with him.
Yeah.
So I think it's a big wild card if all of a sudden he's thrown in the mix, but...
These writers are talented. They might be able to pull it off, but wow.
But that'd be a lot.
It definitely could, but that would be pretty heavy. So after that, Freddy provides Nas with a nice shirt and tie for his trial. What are Freddy's intentions? I'm still so... I mean, I know some of you, for example, Joelle, you think that he's just trying to breed him to be his right-hand man. I'm still wondering, does he know more about this case? And in this case, if he does, he really hasn't... I can't say that he's doing anything to sabotage him because he keeps helping him.
Exactly.
So it's like, does he know more, and is he trying to help, or is it just he just wants his bud to be okay in trial?
But is he helping him? Because
I don't know.
Because at the same time, he's getting him tattooed. He's having Nas do drugs. He's having Nas carry a cell phone, which you're not supposed to have in prison, which would get him in trouble. He's having Nas be a drug mule. Like, these are all things that he has him in the palm of his hand. As soon as he wants to, turn his back towards him, he can stab him in the back easily.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm so... I don't know what's happening with him. Because it is weird, because he does help him, but then he also is doing all those things. So it's so strange.
Here's my
I don't
theory.
know.
When you get out, especially in Nas's case, there are not going to be a lot of financial opportunities for him anymore. Like, he's not going to be able to return to his school, most likely. No one's going to want to hire him. His face has been plastered everywhere. But you've got my tattoos. I've got you hooked potentially on my product. And you know how to carry yourself as a convict, which means I can throw you into any potential circles. So if I need a guy on the outside to do some work for me, I've got you. If you lose and fail in here, I've still got you. Whatever happens to him, he'll be his to use as he sees fit.
It's true. It's true. I mean, he did ask him, you know, did you even like your life outside of here? And maybe Nas didn't. Maybe he likes this better, you know? He has some power.
And he gives him advice. He's like, it doesn't matter whether you're here or outside. Like, it matters if you're going to be true to yourself. And as far as, like, drugs are an escape, like, not recommending them, but if you're in prison day after day, you're constantly fearing for your life, like, drugs are a nice way to not have to be there for a moment. So I don't think it's going to help him, especially if he happens to get drug tested or something. It's definitely going to not be a good check. But in the meantime, he might be grateful for the escape for a little bit, for not having to be responsible for a second.
Did anyone else find it weird that Nas is no longer wearing the shower shoes that Freddie gave him? No. Remember, like, way earlier on?
I do remember, but I
gave him
didn't notice that he didn't wear them.
I know it, yeah.
But they went to his feet first. And I found that was interesting because he said no to the shirt and tie, and now he's not wearing the shoes, and it's almost like he's returning the gifts or not wanting to use the gifts. And again, I really think that when Freddie said something about, like, well, you're not, like, I haven't made you a convict yet, I think that resonated with him 100%. Because I don't think he was even realizing, like, oh, I'm going down this really bad road, maybe this isn't a good idea. Originally, Nas just wanted protection because he didn't want to die in prison, understandably. So I don't really know where it's going to go from here because he's still holding onto the cell phone, but I do think he's going to try to distance himself a little bit from Freddie.
What's interesting, too, is, like, with that saying, like, returning gifts, they make it a point to keep showing you how much, like, stronger Nas is getting and all this stuff. What if it gets to a point where Nas thinks he is stronger or more powerful than Freddie?
That's what I
know
was
what I
thinking,
mean?
kind of.
And what's interesting too is with the guy that puts him up, you know, now Nas has something on this guy and could use this guy kind of to, like, you know, really take power over Freddie because that's one of, like, Freddie's guys.
I'm already getting this weird dynamic between Nas and Freddie and the rest of the goons. I don't know whatever to call them.
We love that
word. It's just, I don't get it. So there's this weird moment after he was getting tattooed where they're, like, looking at each other. And then someone pointed out, I'm so sorry I didn't write the names down this week, but someone pointed out that when Nas said he swallowed 4 and the other one couldn't come out, he really only swallowed 3. And I went and I looked back and he did. But the other guy, he was like, what? There was a 4th one. And then the other guy was like, yeah, 4. And
so that guy has one probably.
So but is he covering for him or what? I'm so confused. Like, there's just this weird, I don't know, there's this weird thing. And if you guys have any ideas, please comment. If you're even noticing this at all, maybe it's in my head, I don't know. But it's just like, there's this weird thing going on.
Okay, so in the beginning, they obviously show those guys looking at him. And those are the 2 guys who are, like, Nas, he's hooking up. Yeah. Now my mind is kind of going, Nas is maybe thinking he's starting to kind of get higher than Freddie in a sense. Because if that guy, Nas is maybe covering for that guy about 4 or whatever. Did the guy keep one? Is that what we're thinking?
I don't know. I just... Please, guys, like I said, this is just such a random thought and theory, but I definitely went back to confirm. And a few people were like, yeah, he only swallowed 3, so why was he saying 4? Why did the other guy say 4? I don't know. I really don't know. I have really no
So does
clue.
Nas maybe have something on both of these guys now?
I don't know. Based on the scene today, what I interpreted from the long looks is Freddie keeps giving him passes. Like, the whole idea of, like, why do you say no to the phone? That's $10. In prison, $10 gets you a lot. Yeah. You know, I mean, you're trading cigarettes, so hard cash is great. You should probably get your balls busted for that a little bit. I'm sure if it had been anyone else other than Nas, it would have been a big thing that you didn't know that. But he keeps getting these soft passes from Freddie, and I think that they're starting to resent that. This new guy comes in here, and all of a sudden, like, he didn't even do anything potentially. Like, the thing they say he did, we have no proof of that. We have to push him into beating people up. Like, why does he get all of your respect? Why does he keep getting passes? That's how I interpreted the scene today.
That's
I also think, too, with the later scene, it was important for them to focus on those guys' faces. Otherwise, it wouldn't...
like, who they were.
So, and I think it was important that those were those 2 guys.
Right. And speaking of that, I guess we'll just talk about it. So Nas sees the younger guy and the older guy, like, engaging in some sexual activity in their cell. And the older guy. I don't know their names.
I don't
but he threatens him in the shower. He's like, "You better not tell Freddy." And I'm like, why does it even matter that Freddy knows in the first place? Is he just a parental, like, is he trying to protect this kid? Or is he going to get pissed off if he finds out what he was doing or what? You know what I mean?
Yeah. My interpretation of that, again, was just Freddy's not cool with you turning queer in prison, which a lot of people
That's
do
what I
to
took.
get
Yeah,
by,
that's
but
what
I
I
have
kinda
a
got
feeling
from
Freddy
that
might be
too.
one of those guys as a boxer and a super macho mentality, like, you don't do that. Especially because I think they talked about conjugal visits earlier. Maybe, unless I'm making that up.
Talked about what?
But
Conjugal
visits. But yeah, that was my interpretation, is that Freddy would not appreciate you turning gay in here, especially doing something behind his back.
Yeah. That's what I think too. That's what I took from it too. Okay. But what was very interesting to me is that this guy threatened Nas like that, knowing how Nas and Freddy are like so close, because okay, you did that. Clearly he knows that Freddy would get pissed if he knew about it. So if Nas tells Freddy what, I don't know. To me, it seemed like a dumb move on that guy's part to threaten him like that.
Yeah. Because there's more guys on Nas's side.
Exactly. That's what I thought. Because clearly this guy is scared for Freddy to know. So why would you threaten the guy that, like we just said, Freddy clearly is like, is favoring. So I don't know. I think more will come from that.
Yeah, to be honest, prison social circles confuse me. And every time something happens,
You're not too versed on that, Renee?
I don't really know so much about it. So I don't know. Beats me.
That's too bad. Well, we'll have to see if that even turns into anything. You guys are so awesome for giving us all these ideas that just complicate everything even more in a great way, so thank you. But moving on, whoa, let's celebrate here, because Stone's feet are healed, and we brought this up already.
It looks so good.
What? So this man gave him these mixtures and these aphrodisiacs, and everything just healed up his feet. I mean, is there a bigger picture here with this healing of his feet? Is this telling to what we'll see later on as far as his character development, and maybe he'll be feeling more confident to do something big?
And I thought he was having like a character identity crisis at one point, because he's the guy with the weird feet. Like, it's how so many people have identified him. Like, you're
everyone
with the feet.
almost,
Right. So now that his feet are healed, and he's still not a great lawyer, which I think is his aspiration, and he still doesn't have his family, I think he'd be like, who am I? Like, what am I even doing? Like, does it matter that my feet are healed? Like, still nobody wants to touch me. So, I don't know. I thought, like, in between when his feet were healed in the meeting, that he was having, like, a small kind of crisis of character. But I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't even know about the feet anymore.
Yeah, to be honest, I want more. Okay, I don't want to see any of the Crisco putting on the feet. But I want, it just seems so easy. Okay, I know it wasn't easy because he went to several doctors, but like he started this weird like sand water in the beginning of the episode, and then his feet were cleared by the end of the episode, and I'm not 100% satisfied with that being the big conclusion to the whole feet story. Like, I want more. You know what I'm saying?
I think we'll definitely get more. I don't know how, but I cannot wait, because
those feet,
this is what we need. We need reasoning to all this. These freaking 6 episodes of this eczema and why. So they'll tell us.
Yeah, they'll tell us.
I need
coming.
more.
We'll get more. So after that, on to our opening statements. And finally, we're in court, and I'm excited.
Me too.
This is where all the action starts. Shout out to Shandra. That's my girl. She did her thing.
Yeah,
what do you guys think about the DA's opening statement?
That woman's voice, is the worst. I'm so sorry, but it hurts me.
I mean, she doesn't seem like the most pleasant woman.
No, not at all.
She seems like your history teacher in middle school whose class you always fell asleep in.
That it is.
It's not, like, anything she says is not compelling. She could tell the most, the most descriptive story with intent, but, like, I'd be like,
I don't know the actress's name, though, but she's doing a great job at, like, that very, like, stern, just, like,
nonsense.
Yeah,
kind of
she's not messing around. Like, she's in it to win it.
matter of fact.
And she's going to take it down.
I like that she took the easy road, because to me it showed a little bit more about her character, that she doesn't think much of her competition. She doesn't think much of the defense as lawyers. She didn't go the extra mile. She was like, look at this sweet dead girl, which is the obvious blow when you're talking to a jury. She didn't put much more thought into her opening statement than that. And so I thought it was nice to watch her get caught off guard a little bit.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what she rebuts with next week.
Absolutely.
Well, I just think it's hard. I mean, coming from her perspective, like, what are they gonna say? You weren't at the house.
Yeah.
You didn't have the knife. You didn't try running away from the cops. Like, okay, come at me. But I can't wait to see what Shandra brings to the table. I'm excited for this case, and I want them to kick butt.
Me too.
Go ahead. I'm also with the whole knife thing. I'm still just waiting for them to say something about how there's no blood on this knife. If with this brutal, there's blood literally all over the walls.
Exactly.
Like, would there really not be more than a little splatter of blood?
And just his blood?
Yeah.
That just makes no sense.
It makes no sense
if you're
at all.
gonna bring it, wouldn't you clean it first? Like, if you're like, when you better make this look a little less obvious.
Rinse it off.
That's what I'm saying.
Keep the dried blood in my jacket. Like, that is the dumbest.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
It doesn't
There are
make
so many
sense.
things that don't make sense, but like you said, they're banking on the things that do make sense, of course. Not to mention, I feel like there was something else that was. Oh well, yeah, he didn't even have a lot of blood on him when he was found, which also doesn't make sense. So I just think that's crazy, and hopefully they bring that up. And also, as far as she's concerned, there really aren't any other leading suspects, and she has no idea that they're following the stepdad further and the Hearst man potentially further. So hopefully that's, comes to their advantage later on, because I think Shandra killed it in her opening thing, and I think her vibrance is going to give her an upper hand as opposed to, the DA's dull person.
I like that she's like laughing through the trial. Like when the officer makes a joke, she's comfortable enough in her positioning to be able to laugh, and it makes me feel like Chandra's got this. Like Shandra is like Team USA right now. She's just like, I'm focused and I have this. Like, I'm doing it. I'm really proud of her. I wasn't sure I was going to work out, but now that we see her in court, I'm like, look at she blossoms. Like, she's going to be a great lawyer.
Exactly.
Also, like, day of trial, all Jon Stone can talk about are his feet. Like, that should not be the focus. Chandra's like, okay, got to work on this. My opening.
He's so proud.
He's like, oh, look at the shoes.
I love how she just got up.
Yeah,
he was just talking and she just gets up and walks away.
Wrong place, wrong time, Stone.
Yeah.
That's so true. So she questions the security woman and this man that witnessed Andrea getting into the cab. She questions the guy who works at the gas station, and then this DNA expert guy. Did any of those stick out to you? I mean, it's really nothing we haven't heard before. Yeah. I was waiting for something new to be revealed in the evidence or something that would have thrown Shandra and Stone off, but it seems like they're pretty solid right now. Like they're ready for whatever the DA has.
The rebuttal on the cop when they were like, did this behavior seem strange to you? He was like, a guy who raped a woman asked to go back to get his car keys, so anything could happen. Yeah. And I was like, thrown out. This now means nothing. Yeah. Oh, I'm so proud of the team.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. So nothing else really, we didn't really find anything out new.
No.
Not yet, but I know they're coming. They have to be coming. So later on, like we mentioned before, Nas calls Shandra from the cell phone. I don't know why. And I just feel like this just is a testament to how green she is. Wouldn't she be more alarmed that he
has a phone?
Like, do they allow you to have cell phones? Woman!
Girl, she's brand new.
Yeah, she's new.
Anything but prison? Like, oh yeah, we all get one cell phone. We use the payphone for fun.
You make your daily call, that's all.
She's pretty green in this, but I don't know. Did you guys get any kind of, I feel like there's a big moment here, and maybe nothing, maybe it's just something I noticed, but when he's about, like, I hope this doesn't scare you, and he pauses and he's like, good night. Was he going to say something else?
I thought so.
I thought he was going to flirt.
Yes.
No, I thought there was going to be something else.
Me too.
I thought there was going to be something else, too. I'm not 100% sure what direction he was going in. It sounded confessional.
It's killing me. It's killing me.
I don't think it, like, murder confession.
Neither.
I think maybe somewhat romantic.
That's
and then he caught himself. It was like, that's crazy, bro. Like, you rethink your situation. You're in prison. You're hitting on your lawyer.
Yeah.
Just good night. This is a good place to end.
Yeah, I for sure thought he was going to be like, I think you're, like, a great... Something like flirting with her in some way, some confession about feelings or whatever. And then I think it hit him. He's like, I'm in prison for a murder with someone I just slept with. Maybe I shouldn't talk to my lawyer about my feelings for her.
Yeah.
Even though they're there.
I don't know, man. I just... it could have been something else.
Could have been something else. Somebody commented in... the YouTube chat, Monty9911 said, very good episode, Nas is Breaking Bad. And it got me thinking a lot about how, like, we see Walter White make this change from being a guy who just wants to pay his medical bills to somebody who kind of seeps into this power and feels good about himself because of the bad things that he's done. It wouldn't surprise me if we're seeing a similar trajectory with Nas of I didn't do anything, but now I'm thrown into prison and prison culture, and I have to survive here. And beyond that, I'm seeing what I could be. Like, I'm buff now. Like, I'm like a thick dude. Like, people respect me. They fear me when they hear my name. I don't have to worry so much about getting bullied and beat up anymore. It really wouldn't surprise me if that was his confession, right on the wrist. Like, I feel like I'm changing, or I hope it doesn't scare you, but I think I'm becoming something different. It kind of felt like that in nature to me.
Interesting. What I'm most worried about, I mean, I know I still don't think Nas did it, but I just feel like if he were to confess to Shandra, she's so brand new and she seems so filled with her morals, and I think maybe that would throw off her ability to do her job.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm scared of. And I believe even Freddy mentioned something like this when they were discussing the trial. He said something about, the man doesn't scare me, it's that new girl or something like that.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, I'm thinking like a billion things right now, guys, so bear with me. But I'm like, man, if that was his attempt to confess something, and she does find out anything that would make her believe that he did do it, because right now she's so on his team. I just feel like it would throw off her ability to actually want to win this case wholeheartedly. So I don't know, guys.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know anything.
So lastly, the huge part at the ending of this, finally we are on to the stepdad.
Yes,
finally, and I'm
family.
thrilled because
Let's
he's
do
my number
this.
one suspect. Well, I think I said the neighbor too, but both of them. The stepdad, John Stone, is finally putting 2 and 2 together, and I'm like, he's supposed to be the one that nobody respects, and he's finally putting these things together. Nobody else looked at the stepdad until now, and I'm so relieved.
Yeah.
So
Or even her financial planner, you guys didn't think this had anything to do with money?
Well,
Nothing?
she probably wants nothing to do with it. I'm like, I feel like I would get involved, but I just love this creepy stuff, and I'm like weird about it. But normal people would probably not want to get involved with a murder investigation if they had the choice. So do you mean like why didn't he
I don't
speak
know why
up?
the police didn't go to the financial planner to be like, are crazy things happening with her finances? Is anybody asked you anything? Like, that just seems major. Young girl with tons of money killed in her home. I think that would be, again, with like Facebook. Like, where are you guys? It's hard because I know that he showed up with like a nice pretty bow. Like, police officers like pray for this. They're like, we got it. Murder weapon, suspect, miles from the place, asked if she was dead in the car. Like, it would obviously feel like an open and shut case, but I also feel like, how can you not do more police work? How do you not check Facebook day one?
Thank God
just
for
to see
Stone,
their friends on Facebook.
To me, it seems weird too, because we understand that they have all this evidence and stuff, but for me, it'd be valuable for them to look into it, because they have to assume that the defense is going to, and are they going to be absolutely not prepared at all when these things are, you know what I mean? It's going to come up. But now with all this information we get about the stepdad, it seems almost too obvious.
You think so?
Which makes me doubt it a little, because it's like set up absolutely perfectly for it to be him. And maybe that is it.
For the case, that's going to be such great fodder, like the back and forth between them, especially as they introduce him on the stand, because he doesn't seem warm or innocent. Like, from the get-go, when he was looking at the murder photos, and we were all really put off by, he looked at them for so long and then was like, I don't know her.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that to me is just rings guilty. So I hope they put him on the stand next week.
Yes, I hope so too.
Don't they, like, for DNA testing and everything, wouldn't they get a third party there?
What do you mean?
On Andrea. Like, usually, I mean, I guess it's mostly with, like, rape cases.
Oh, yeah.
However, like, they always, if there was another person there, they would know. Wouldn't they know if there was
test
someone?
the DNA?
Yeah, like, anything. There was nothing, like, there was no hair. There was nothing leading to another person. And here's the thing. That means I would think that this person had to have been smart. And he was so dumb when they were talking to him about the body. He was like, oh, I don't know her. Oh, I know her. Like, that seemed, I don't know. That's why it seems like too obvious. And it had to have been someone smart to get out of there, leave, like, the one knife, the 4 Nas, like, setting it all up. And I just think this stepdad's an idiot.
I just feel like I'm still with it, because I feel like he would be familiar with the place, so he would know that gate didn't close. He obviously had motive, the money, and he's after cougars.
But 22
He has a
times?
history of being after older women. He has history of restraining orders. I feel like, I get what you guys are saying. It's too easy, but at the same time, we have 2 episodes left, and maybe the point is not to shock us, but maybe the point is just to show us that it's going to be hard to prove that anybody else did it. Yeah. So
totally.
I don't know. I'm torn.
I agree.
I think he would be a good suspect and a good person, a good murderer in the end. And even if he gets away with it and Nas is still convicted, I'd be satisfied if it ended up being him. So.
Yeah, I don't know. The fact, it goes back to with motive for anyone. The stabbing of 22 times, if it's a financial thing, I don't know. That just seems like a lot of rage to come out of someone for money. But I don't know. We'll see.
Totally buy it. Just because I feel like he didn't want to work anymore. He's quick to violence. We've seen him threaten other people. And he said he didn't know her. Like, the fact he was like, I don't know her.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's really confusing to me if he's innocent. Like, you know what she looks like. I just can't think of any reason why else you would be like, I just don't know this person. Unless he's involved in something else shady and he didn't want, like, people investigating into his life.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know.
I still think, too, definitely you find out he was, like, 25 years younger. I for some reason, get the vibe that him and Andrea had some sort of intimate relationship.
Agreed.
That would have fueled it even more.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe she was, to me, from what we got from her, we didn't get much of it, but she did have kind of maybe like would maybe throw it in his face, like, I'm gonna tell blah blah blah. Not only are you not getting the money, like, you can't have me. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So I could see that being more of a personal attack. Not. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was him, but we find out it was more than just the money.
Well, and I'm just remembering, if we find out that the fight between the stepdad and Andrea happened. Well, no, and Andrea, because if the accountant tells us that she says, over my dead body, they had a huge fight about the money. If that fight happened right before she got into the cab, and she says, I can't go, I have to be, like, with somebody and stuff, that's pretty damning evidence that, he would be furious because they just coming off the fight. She's frightened of him, so she's hiding with this other dude. I'm seeing it. I
wouldn't be surprised if we find out that the stepdad drives a motorcycle.
Ooh.
Okay, wow.
That's
Stepdad.
good.
Like in one of the episodes, he's gonna like roll up on a motorcycle and we're like,
I'm just gonna die. That would be cool.
He comes across as a motorcycle type guy to me.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
I think that's great.
Trainer.
But let's segue that into predictions, because I think that's a great transition.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
My brain's gonna explode.
Same.
Do you want to go first, Renee?
Sure. I think that Stone and Shandra are going to set something up for the stepdad where they have like someone go undercover maybe, or someone pretend to not be law enforcement in any way and just try to talk to him to see what he's like because he's freaking weird, and I think they know that. So I hope that they use someone else to kind of get answers as opposed to just asking bluntly. And I also think that if it is the stepdad, I think we're going to learn way more about his relationship with Andrea through other people. I think it's not going to come straight from him. I think we're going to talk to other people in the area and they'll be like, yeah, they had like a really like weird relationship, blah, blah, blah. That would make it, because honestly, again, for the motive, for me, 22 times, for it to be her age, I need more than money, personally.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could totally be on board with the stepdad, but like I said this from the very beginning. I got the vibe that he was young, and I could totally see her being the type that they had a more intimate relationship than they should have, and that's where I think it's more of a personal thing compared to the money. Like, yeah, there's money involved, but personal. I think that this, like, the state, when they come in with all their stuff, the fact that there was blood out back, shows that there was a third person, because Nas went out the front door.
Right.
Didn't even
both times.
Yeah, both times. Clearly Andrea wasn't up walking around out back.
Don't think that's that kind of show.
That would be great.
I don't know. Like I said, I think that the stepdad seems so obvious, but like you said, it could just be more about the fact that Nas could be proven guilty for a crime he didn't do, even though there's another suspect. Whatever. I don't know, and my mind is everywhere.
I know.
Like yours. I'm so excited for the next 2 episodes, and I definitely think the hearse guy is gonna come into play.
Hearse man.
And I swear we're gonna find out that Stepdad rides a motorcycle.
And I'm really excited for next episode as well. I think we're gonna have the defense and the prosecution really tearing it up on the stand. We're going to see where the prosecution didn't fully do their research, starting to be called out, particularly with the little bit of tease we got for next week, where Box on the stand, she's like, so why immediately did you believe him? And he's like, evidence. And I just know she's going to go in there and completely destroy him.
Oh, yeah.
I am so,
it's gonna be awesome.
so excited for that. And I'm... Okay, I was gonna say, part of me hopes that she like turns it and makes it like a race thing, and she's like, you know, you didn't fully do your job, and I really think that plays into it. Or that we'll learn Box has some kind of secret prejudice, because I've also felt that for a long time.
I could see that.
So I definitely want to see that. I also want to shout out really quick, Tea with Pantajali, I hope I said that right. They said, can't tell you how much I appreciate the live show and the chat comments. I missed this show as I'm traveling and don't have HBO, so I'm detoxing. Welcome. We're super glad to have you here.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for tuning in and commenting. We love that. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to try to tie Dwayne to the stepdad.
Ooh. Yeah.
And I'm going to say that either Dwayne was hired as a hitman from the stepdad, or that he witnessed the stepdad going in that night. So I don't know, guys.
I think Reed.
I'm trying to make a connection here, but I think Reed might be affiliated with the stepdad somehow. Either he was hired to kill her, or he saw something that night, and I think that'll come back later.
Can I just say too, the fact when we saw him run, we automatically assumed he was guilty of something.
Right.
Maybe he is just threatened by the stepdad, or you know,
just not
something.
wanting to talk.
Yeah, maybe even like the stepdad's like paying him off to keep quiet because now he has all this money. So I definitely think he's gonna come into play to help Nas, actually.
I think if Stone could, if we find out that Stone, like you said, negotiated something and we could get him on the stand, I think it'll be good. But I must also say thank you, Nelvin, for letting us know. He said that in the scene there were 4 baggies. So I don't know what's going on with the 3-bag, 4-bag thing, but just forget that. We're way beyond that. But thank you guys so much for tuning in again this week. We cannot wait until next week. I'm your host, Miaira Jennings. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Miaira Jennings. And please continue the conversation all week. We absolutely love it. You guys have been giving us some awesome theories, so thank you.
Yes.
My panel here.
Hey guys, I'm Joelle Monique. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Joelle Monique, and every week on blackgirlnerds.com.
Hello everyone, I'm Abby Vega. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at _Abby Vega, and on Snapchat at vega.abby.
Ooh.
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel.
And as usual, lastly, I just must mention, I have my book review series, Plot Twisted, youtube.com/Miaira Jennings TV. Check it out. Murder mysteries, suspense, thrillers, all that good stuff. And we'll see you guys next week. 2 more episodes.
Bye.
See ya.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.